Okay, we're going to do this some more. This time we're doing Chapter 3, Section 2. We're going to do notes and we're going to do practice. We're going to talk about parallel lines and more about the angle relationships. Real quick review. Parallel lines are two lines in the same plane that do not intersect. We indicate that with the arrows. Okay, same plane. Do not intersect. Last week we talked about if you have two lines and they're intersected by a transversal. When we say cut, we're saying intersected. We form four angles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we form four angles here, 5, 6, 7, 8. These angles have special relationships, which we're going to review now, and then talk about what happens if the lines are parallel. Okay, first one. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. Congruent means equal measure. Let's talk about what corresponding angles are. Corresponding angles make an F. So if I do angle 4 with angle 8, okay, I'm going to highlight, okay, angle 4 and angle 8. Those are corresponding angles. Because angle 4 corresponds to angle 8. Let me show you why. Angle 4 in this group of angles is in the bottom right corner. Bottom right. If I look at this group, cover up these, look at this group of 4, angle 8 is in the bottom right corner. They correspond, they match. Correspond means to match. Because they match and because the lines are parallel, these two angles are always congruent, which means angle 4 congruent to angle 8. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. We could do other angles that match also. If I go the bottom left side, okay, this is bottom left, angle 3, bottom of this 4, it's on the bottom of it and it's on the left side. I could go to the bottom intersection, bottom angles, left side would be 7. So 4 and 7, again, you can see there's this F. Angle 4 and 7 go together. And because this is only true when the lines are parallel, and I know they're parallel, remember, because of these marks, that means parallel, angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. You can write the other pairs if you want. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Okay, you have to know that. It's super important. Okay, now we're going to talk about alternate interior angles. Okay, remember, corresponding angles make an F. So this time, if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are congruent. So let's talk about alternate interior angles. Alternate means this word, opposite sides of the transversal. Okay? T is a transversal. Okay? So when I look at this transversal, alternate means opposite sides. Okay? So angles are going to be on the opposite side. One will be on the left side, one will be on the right side of the transversal. That's opposite sides. Interior means between the two lines. So anything in here between the lines is called interior. We learned that last lesson. So interior between lines. Okay? Congruent means equal measure. Okay. So I'm going to erase this. That was a review. Okay? Now let's identify our alternate interior angles. So they got to be opposite sides and in between the lines. So if I do angle 3, okay, and I'm not going to go, when I highlight, I'm not going to go below this so I can see the shape. And angle 3 is going to the left. It opens to the left. Angle 6 opens to the right. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're both between the lines. So they're alternate interior angles. According to this theorem, alternate interior angles theorem, if the lines are parallel, then alternate interior angles are congruent, which means angle 3 is congruent to angle 6. These also make a Z. I can look at the other pair of angles. I use a pink marker, okay? So here's angle 4. Angle 4 opens up to the right with angle 5, which opens up to the left. And that also makes a Z shape. And angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. Okay? Halfway there. Okay. Consecutive interior angles. That same side interior. So we're going to talk again. We're between the two lines. This time, same side. Here's my transversal. So the angles either both go to the left or they both go to the right. They will be on the same side of the transversal. It says if two parallel lines are cut, meaning intersected, by a transversal, then same side interior angles are supplementary. Okay? Let's talk about supplementary means total equals 180. The sum, the total, is 180 degrees. I'm going to highlight my angles. So between the lines, same side of the transversal, same side interior. Angles 4 and 6 are same side interior angles. The equation on this, and we'll go back. Well, let's write it. We're going to go part plus part equals 180. Part plus part equals whole, and in this case it's 180. So I could say measure of angle 4 plus measure of angle 6 equals 180 degrees. If I do the same side interior, both going to the left, I'll say angle 3 and angle 5. Remember, those same side interior angles always make a C shape. Okay, so in this case, I'll say measure of angle 3 plus a measure of angle 5. When we do, like this one here is like part plus part is whole, but all the rest of them, our angles are just congruent. So if I have to write an equation, it's just going to be part equals part, if I have to. If I have to write an equation for this one, part equals part. I'll move my paper, sorry you guys. Okay, all of these, part equals part equals part. This one, because I'm saying the angles are congruent if they're corresponding angles, the angles are congruent. Part equals part, angle equals angle, angle equals angle. If I do alternate interior angles, we say that they're congruent to each other. So angle 3 equals the measure of angle 6. Measure of angle 5 equals the measure of angle 4. Part equals part. Part equals part. Okay? This one here is the only one different. This one, we're adding the two angles together. This angle plus this angle equals 180. Part plus part equals whole. Okay. Then the last one we're going to talk about is alternate exterior angles. So we're going to do, and let's talk about it real quick, okay? I think this is kind of cool. It's kind of fun. We could do it with consecutive too. I can show you why. Angle 1 and angle 5. Let's look at them. Top left corner of the intersection. Top left. I'm going to look down here. Angle 5 is top left corner. These are called corresponding angles, and I know that corresponding angles are congruent. So I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, and I can mark the angles congruent by putting a little curve through them. Now we haven't done this for a very long time, so I'm going to write something down here. I'm going to write vertical. This is just a review. Angles are congruent. Okay? Vertical angles are congruent. This is a review. If I have two lines that intersect, opposite angles in the intersection are congruent. So I could say measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 2. The opposite angles are congruent. I could also say measure of angle 3 equals measure of angle 4. Something else we should probably review is a linear pair. If I have a straight line, and I have these two adjacent angles, angle 1 and 2. Okay, those are adjacent angles. The sum of the two angles is 180 degrees. A linear pair is always 180. So measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 equals 180. Okay, let's go back to the alternate exterior angles. If I know angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent, I also can look within this intersection, and angle 5 and angle 8 are also equal to each other because they're vertical angles. If 1 equals 5 and 5 equals 8, look what I'm saying, angle 1, angle 5 to angle 8, that means angle 1 and angle 8 are congruent. So these are the exterior, alternate exterior angles. So I'm going to forget about 5 for right now. We just did that to show you, and it's okay if you didn't understand that. But angle 1 and angle 8 are congruent angles. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay, so that means measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 8. It also means I could go this side of it. Measure of angle 2 equals, I'm going to go opposite, measure of angle 2 opens to the right, measure of angle 7 opens to the left, and they're exterior. Measure of angle 2 equals measure of angle 7. Okay, that's it, you guys. When you flip the paper over, you have practices that we'll do together. So in this one, it says find the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. So you would look at, if you know what 41, okay, now you might want to turn your paper this way, if that helps you. And you can see interior is in here, exterior is above and below. This is my transversal. You can also keep your paper here, it's the same, interior, okay, exterior, exterior, here's your transversal. So the first thing you have to do is identify the angles. What kind of angles do we have? So I take what I know, I've got this 41, and I could do angle 1 with it. What kind of angles are they? What shape do they make? What kind of angles are they? In this case, they make an F, right? So they're corresponding. So if this is 41, it says over here, corresponding angles are congruent. So that means 41 degrees would have to be what measure of angle 1 is. Okay? Some of these are going to be hard. You're going to have to write equations. So like on this one's hard. You have to go, okay, what kind of angles are they? Is it going to be a part equals part, or a part plus part equals whole? Okay, there you go. I'll answer your questions later. Good job.